Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we're diving into many-to-many relationships in Laravel. So if you've ever wondered how to associate multiple records with each other, like students enrolling in multiple courses or courses having multiple students, this video is for you. Stick around and I'll show you how it's done step by step. Okay, so what is a many-to-many relationship? Unlike one-to-many or one-to-one, multiple records in one table are related to multiple records in another table. So we have a classic example here of students and courses. So a student can enroll in multiple courses and a course can have multiple students. Okay, so in our case here, so in Laravel to achieve many-to-many, what we use is called a pivot table. Okay, so what we've got here is a students table. So we've got an ID and a name field. So ID is our primary key. And we've got a courses table, which is an ID and name. So once again, what you would do here is normally students would have like an email address and other details like that, and courses would have other course information, times, and all that sort of stuff. We're just making it really simple for this one. So, and we've got our pivot table. So in Laravel, the naming convention for a pivot table, it's really important. So you've got courses, students. So in the way you name it is you in alphabetical order. So of the table, so C is before S. So you go courses and you use the singular. So you go course underscore, so students. So we use a singular, student, and we have our foreign key. So we've got, once again in Laravel, is the standard for naming convention. You can change it if you want, but just to make it really easy, you just use a naming convention. And we want to get courses ID. So we go course, singular, underscore, ID. And in students, we go student, which is the singular, underscore, ID. And there's our pivot table created. Okay, so let's dive into it. I've just made a basic Laravel project. It's just a standard Laravel 11 project. And all I've done in this project is I've created a simple layout in Bootstrap. So I've changed it from the default of Tailwind to Bootstrap. And I've migrated the database, the standard migration as in Laravel. And I've just created a couple of little template files, but the template files have nothing in them. It's just for students and courses, okay? So let's get started. So the first thing we need to do is we need to make our models and migrations for students and courses. So let's do that. So PHP artisan make model, and we want to call this one students. So we want a migration, and we want, so we want controller and factory. Okay, so we'll use these as we go along. That's created those. And we want to do the same for courses, except in Laravel, we want our model is singular named, as you know. Okay, that's great, we're in. So the next thing we need to do is create our pivot table. So we've got all of our extra files here. PHP artisan make. And now, so we want to make this a migration because we don't need a model for it, because Laravel will automatically pick it up if we use our correct naming convention. Create. So what do we need to call it? Course student table. Okay. Course student table. Create course student. Okay, that will give us our table name automatically. Okay, so let's go and make our migrations. So we go to our students migration. See, it's given us a plural students. Okay, so we can leave it basically in. We just need string name like this. And we can copy that over because we're going to do the same for courses. Courses. So our string name, so we've got our ID and string. In this field doesn't have the timestamps, but that doesn't matter. It's Laravel's automatically going to put them in for us. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is go to our course students migration, and we don't need the primary ID or the timestamps. What we do need is our course ID and student ID, and their foreign IDs. So let's make those foreign ID. And it's course ID, and we want that constraint, so that's going to autofill for me. Thank you very much. And it's going to do it again for student ID, and it's going to be constrained as well, because we need to enforce referential integrity. Okay, so we don't want a course ID. If we've got 5 courses and you try and add a student to a course and you try and call the course number course ID 7, well, it's not going to be there. So you need to make sure that we constrain it so that it's got referential integrity. We've got that. All right, we're good to go. So now we can migrate. So let's PHP artisan migrate. And let's check our database table. So we're just using PHP my admin here. And our courses, let's just check that student, and we've got course student that we want. Courses, ID name, and there's our timestamps. Student, ID name, and our timestamps. And most importantly, our pivot table called course student, and it's course ID, student ID with foreign keys. So we're good to go. Next thing we need to do, we can close off these migrations because we don't need them anymore. And we want to work with our models now. So we need let's do the student model first. Okay, and we're going to be working with, we need to be able to fill the name. So let's just make sure that we have that sorted in there. Just put the name. Okay, and that'll do it for us. And we want to also be able to fill the name in the courses table. So let's do that. Now we can set up our relationships. So really simple to do. We're in the students, so we want to do a courses many-to-many relationship, and we use the belongs to many relationship style. Public function courses. And it's gonna autofill it for me. Return this belongs to many course. Okay, so you do return this belongs to many and the course class. And now because we've used naming conventions in Laravel, we don't have to add the extra fields like ID, what table, what ID it is, and whatever. So we can just do the class there, which makes it super easy for us. And we want to do the reverse in courses. So public function students. And return this to belongs to many students, and that's just the reverse now. And it's telling me that I should do so. We'll just add. You don't have to do this, but if you want to do PHP, it's good for type hinting. And the next thing we can do now is we've got to set up a factory, okay? Because we need to be able to have some students and some courses. Okay, so we need our student factory. And all we need to do is just create a name for the student. So that's the faker name. Great, that'll do. That'll do exactly what we needed. And we need our course factory. And we just want to use, there's no course name thing here. But what we can do is just put, we'll just use company. And that'll do. It's close enough. And we'll go to our database seeder file. Okay. And we'll just seed some courses, some students. First, student factory. Let's give ourselves, 20 students. And we want course. And let's just make 5 courses. I'm sorry, students, you don't have too many courses to choose from. Let's get our students here. So let's grab some students, equals students all. Okay, and let's do a for each for those all. And I'm going to show you how to assign students to courses. Okay, so student, we use the attach option. Oh, sorry, we need a student. Here we need courses. That's very important. Otherwise, we won't be attaching to anything. And it's important to use the brackets there. Otherwise, you won't be able to attach it. So we attach. And you can just attach with a number. So, if we wanted to assign each student to course 1, 2, and 3, we could do it like that. Or what we can do is we can I think we can do that. There we go. We can do it like that. 1, if you've only got 1. Or why don't we just get a random record? So let's try a course all, and we want just a random record. Okay. And we'll make sure we'll get its ID, and that should work. So each student should be in one course, and because we've got 20 students and 5 courses, we should have multiple students in a course, and that's the way then we can show that data later. Okay, so if we go PHP artisan, we can see that, but let's just migrate fresh and seed. That's a bit easier. All right, so we should be seeded now. And let's check our courses, students, and course students. Okay, so courses, we've got 5 courses, even though they look like company names, they're courses. 20 students. And we've got some data in our pivot table. So what is that? That's remember there are foreign keys, so that's our course ID of 4. If we go through our courses, that'll be this one. Okay, and that's student number 1, so 1 through 20, and they're each in a random course. And we can see we've got 4's got multiple, 3's got multiple, and so on. So we're going to use that, and we're going to display that data going forward now. Okay, so we can close all these off now, and let's go to our students blade file we've got. Okay, let's just list our students. So, well, first what we need to do there is we need to have our route. So route get. So we'll make that students. We actually want to import that, and we want that to be indexed. So courses as well. We'll do our courses. Course controller. Course controller. Okay, there we go. That's better. And if we go into our student controller, we need to make this route as well. So we need to make public function index, and we need all of the students, but we'll use get this time because we need to do something after this. And return view students index, and we'll compact the students. Okay, we need to actually add names to these. Name, students index, name, courses index. Okay, so we've got our students index name, our students index we want. So we'll go to our courses index file. So we've got our students, we've got our, hang on, let's check got our routes, we've got our student controller, and we need our course controller as well. We need to make the same public function index and courses. Thank you very much, AI. Return view courses index. Okay, so we want get there as well. Okay, we're ready to go. So let's go through list our students. Okay, so we want to just do a simple for each. Students as student. Did we make sure we've got our students? Yes, that's the correct name. And we want to just make some rows. Okay, row, and we want just a simple column, and we want to put the student ID in there. Div.col, we'll make that 3 just a little bit bigger. Student name. Okay, so let's see what happens. We should have some students and some names. You know what we'll do as well? We'll put here, we'll just put ID and name. Okay, and we'll just make that bold. Okay, just so because it's a header. This one bold, and we'll how about we center this one as well. Text center. Okay, and we can, you know what, we can center the name as well. Okay, so we should be able to view this page now. Students, we've got our students and our ID and the name. Right, there's our 20 students. Let's do a similar thing for courses. So we'll just copy that and we'll just change it all to courses. Courses. We don't need that. ID name can stay the same. Courses as course. And the ID and the name. So that should be, we should be able to get that as well. We've done something wrong here. We need an end of for each. Okay. So we want to call that, what you want to call that, courses. It's better. All right, so we've got 5 courses there, and we want to know who are the students in each course. All right, so we can see here, if we go along here, and we'll go, all right, here's the courses, and let's make a new row, and we want to make that div.col, and let's make that 4 wide, so we want it to just be across the whole thing. And let's just list the students in each courses. So how do we do that? So we go for each, and we go course. So we want the singular course students as student. Okay, and now we can just we'll go. We want some more rows in here, and we'll just make that 12 wide because we want it the entire row. And we'll put the student's name in here to make it easier. Student name. And if we save this, we should be able to see the students in each course. All right, so we've got courses. So we've got course ID 1, and we've got these 2, course ID 2, and we've got these 2, and we've got course ID 3. Sorry, there's 4, and there's however many that is, and we've got them. So that should be a total of 20 students. And so some courses have more than others. And there, we've now managed to generate many-to-many relationship. Now, there's one slight catch to note here, and in Laravel, we've done lazy loading here. So the course's students, that's going to make a bunch of queries to get that, bunch of extra queries. So what we need to do in our controller is in our course controller, when we do this, we go with, and if we load the students now, Laravel will do eager loading, and when we come to load this, it'll be much faster. And now it was really fast this time because it was only 5 courses and 20 students. But could you imagine if you had 1,000 courses and many thousands of students, like, for example, a university or a school might actually have? That's why we use the with command there. And you can do that in the same with the student controller. So with courses, this one is. And we can see what student is in what courses. If we go students, and we'll just copy that code from this other one. So we'll make that row, copy this one. And we want to reverse that, students courses as courses and the course name. So if we go to the students one, that should be show each student and which course they're in. And if they were in multiple courses, then they would show multiple courses, just like in the other way, it would show multiple students. So if we want, we can actually we can make some multiple courses again. Why don't we go through and we'll do our database seeder, and we'll show what it looks like with multiple courses. So let's just see if we can put each student in, I don't know, 3 courses. Why don't we do that? We'll just make sure we get only the ID from those 3. And let's do our seed again. And if we go back to our screen, now our courses have got multiple. So we've gone each student in 3, so there's going to be much more in each class, each course, sorry. So courses are filling up, and each student's in 3. We can see that's the many-to-many. And we could do a random number if we wanted to. We could do each, in our database seeder, we could do, put a random number in here as well. And, each student would be in 1 or 2 or 3 courses. They don't have to exactly be in 3. Okay. So we've worked out how to do that now. How do you do the reverse? Okay. So the reverse, if we go to our database seeder, I'll just quickly show that. What we would do in here, instead of attaching, what we would do, it's called detach. Okay, and you just, same thing here with IDs. So you could do that. You could do detach 2 at a time, 2 at a time or 3 at a time or whatever. And that removes the relationship. So let's say if we attach for each one in here in our seeder, so let's do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we'll give them all of them, and then we'll detach all students 1 and 3. Okay, so really they should be left with courses 2, 4, and 5. So if we run that, and we check our, if we check our courses 1 and 3 don't have any students, but 2, 4, and 5 have lots of students. And if you look at the reverse, you can see that they're only in the same courses, 2, 4, and 5. Okay, now there's another option we can do instead, and we've got what's called the sync option. But when you sync it, it completely replaces whatever records were in there. So if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or even nothing, you could have nothing, or you could have 1, 2, and 3, you could have anything, and this will replace it with 1 and 3. So why don't we try 2 and 3 this time? So if we run this, we'll find out that all students should be only, even though we've attached 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the first one, and what we'll do, we'll detach 2, or for example, so realistically without this, so if we remove this, they should only be in 1, 3, and 5 after these commands. But once we do this, it'll remove all of these and only enroll the students in 2 and 3. Okay, so let's check that. And if we check the courses, so 2 and 3 have all the students, and 4 and 5 do not. Okay, and each student's only enrolled in those 2 courses. So how do we query the next data? So what we want to do here is, let's go back to that random code. There we go. 3, and let's do actually just random, because we only need 1, so we don't have to pluck anything there, because we've only got 1. Okay, let's see our database. Okay, we'll just check out, so we've got 20 students. Let's check our courses, and there should be 20 there. Okay, next thing we need to do, we're going to our student controller. Now we've got this with here. So if we just add where, so the function we want is where has, and that'll take courses. And we need to create a function, and we'll use query as as our query builder for inside here. So we'll query where ID, and let's do course number 2. So if we go to our courses page, we only want these 2. So we only want whoever's in course number 2. Okay. Say for example, we're running course number 2. We want to know who are the students in our course. Okay. So if we go to the students page, we should have only those 2. Okay, we can do the same for others. Who's in course number 3? And we've got it. And normally what you would do here, we won't do it, but normally what you would do here is you'd have like some kind of drop down. They can easily see which students are in which courses and that sort of thing. That's how, and you just use that to filter it, and you just get the data from, for example, request course ID or something, what you would have. And if you wanted to pull the request in here, you just go use request to make sure you bring it in. We don't have a request. We need the request. That would be how you would do it. Course ID. You would pull in from the courses. Okay, and that's a wrap on many-to-many relationships in Laravel. Now you know how to set up relationships, enroll students in courses, retrieve the data, and query it efficiently. And don't forget to use the with function so that we have eager loading instead of lazy loading. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more Laravel content. See you in the next one.